it's been... tell me the provenance of that. Where did it come from?
Well, this all started about 3 years ago with Big Lottery.
Yep.
And they came up with an idea to address the issue of alcohol and its abuse across not just the Southern Trust, but all of Northern Ireland. And they felt that the best way to ensure that the projects that could possibly come into being would be best suited for purpose would be to devolve them down to the 5 health and social care trusts across Northern Ireland. They approached the Southern Trust with the offer. We accepted. The next stage was that we went into an extensive consultation process across the 5 district councils of the Southern Trust.
Yes.
Armagh, Gannon, Craigavon, Banbridge, and of course your own home place here in
Newry and Mourne. Yeah.
From that, we started and we had, I think, about 125 ideas that came from both the community and the statutory organisations across the area. And we went through a distillation process when we came up with eventually the 8 services that we have in place. These were the ones that were...
So these were services that had not been in place before the event?
Correct.
And those services are what, please?
They are predominantly counselling and advice giving. We are not involved in direct treatment of people with alcohol abuse. All of the services that we have introduced through the impact of alcohol portfolio are new. They are not a duplication because that would have been a complete waste of money.
Yes, of course.
They are the ones that we have reacted to the views, as I said, of the community predominantly because there are 8 services. 6 of them are being delivered by the community voluntary sector and only 2 by the statutory sector, which are the Southern Trust.
Kieran, give me an idea in practical terms of these 8 elements. What, you know, where are people counselled? Who counsels them? What are the programs of counselling in place? Who qualifies? Who doesn't qualify?
Well, everyone qualifies. That's the first step. The second one is that there is no gatekeeping. So people can self-refer in to any of these services themselves. They're available, I wouldn't say 24/7, but they are available as widely as we possibly can. If I go through the 8 services,
Please
it might be the easiest way to do it. In no specific order, the first one is looking at alcohol and domestic violence. And that is being delivered by Women's Aid, Newry and Armagh.
Okay.
And that covers all of the southern area.
Okay.
And as I'm sure you well know, the problems that arise from alcohol and domestic violence.
We've had the Women's Aid people here on a constant basis telling us all about it. So
exactly.
So you go from that, then we have the domestic violence.
Then what we have is we have counselling, which is delivered by Dunlewy Substance Advice Centre. They have a base in Armagh.
Okay.
But they also have a satellite base here in Newry.
So that's someone who feels that she's under the pressure of alcohol addiction, that they can go and say, look, I need counselling, I need to talk
Well,
to
it's not just simply alcohol addiction. I think that's the problem that sometimes people say whenever you mention the word alcohol. They think you only have a problem with alcohol if you're an alcoholic.
Yeah.
But it is far more insidious than that. Alcohol can be a problem for problematic drinkers who are not drinking on a continual basis, but at various times during the week, at various times during the month, at various times during the year, and the problems that can come from that can lead to debt, that can lead to, as we were saying, violence among the family, violence in the community, etc. The service that Dunlewy provide is for 18 plus because there's already counselling for young people up to 18 years of age. So what we were doing was filling in the gap that existed past the current services. The next one we have is chronic alcohol users, and this has been delivered by DePaul Ireland.
What is DePaul Ireland?
DePaul Ireland is a region or a national. Now, when I say national, it's both north and south of Ireland. Charity organisation.
Is that St Vincent de Paul?
No,
it's
completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Okay.
They have a base in Dungannon, which we work from, and they also have another base here in Newry.
And what do they do?
They are people who would deal with clients who would have severe problems with alcohol, and they are now falling into the stage of which they have problems with tenancy, with debt, with their own local community that they have within it. So they try and address those issues. They are very, very complex problems that DePaul deal with.
Yes.
So therefore, it's because of that that they have limited numbers, but they are
Yeah.
the ones that have a very, very important program. That
And is that a
in place to deal with it.
self-referral thing?
All of these
No,
are self-referral,
yeah.
self-referral in, and also they can be referred in from, for example, yourself. If you know someone that you feel is a problem and you're looking at them, you're talking to them, and you say, "Listen, I know where I can get some help from
Yes,
you."
of course,
Then
yeah,
you don't have
yeah.
to be a professional.
No, we're
You know,
networking for the betterment of people.
Exactly.
Bang, 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 bang. So there's three. Take me into the rest of them,
The
please.
next one is family counselling.
Yep, because families are
Exactly.
hugely affected.
One person within a family or two people within a family.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be the parents. It could be the siblings.
Yeah, yeah.
So therefore, it's to look at that, and we are working on the whole idea of having families in together. That's been delivered by Relate Northern Ireland.
Good, good.
Then the next one is older people. We call
Wow,
it the
yeah.
older focus. Because we're all getting older,
Yeah.
Rowan.
Well, I'm 71 now, so I know about it. But the other thing is that older people can sometimes be lonely people.
That's
And the
exactly.
bottle, it becomes the companion.
Well, the scenario that we're facing, and I hate using general terms, but older people, to a degree, have disposable income.
Yes,
And
yes,
therefore, they are able to buy alcohol. Alcohol is freely available everywhere. The cost of it has dramatically dropped over the years.
Yeah.
And this is looking at the idea that sometimes in the past had been hidden. That
yeah.
because you were an older person, a grandparent, a great uncle, or whatever, that, well, don't be worrying about it. So it was to give them an opportunity that they could deal directly with the older person themselves,
Okay.
or couples,
Yeah.
or the families, the extended family, because how would it be affecting their sons, their daughters, their granddaughters, etc.? Again, down to the idea of debt,
Yes,
tenancy,
yeah,
occupation of the house, etc.
Okay, take me on.
The sixth one in the community is an outreach detached youth work
Yes.
programme. It is only covering the Armagh and Gannon area, because you have to cut your cloth to suit your
Of course,
coat.
of course, of course. Yeah.
And this is dealing with young people who have decided that the statutory youth clubs and youth organisations just isn't for them, so they gather at various parts. If you're talking about Newry, it could be Soho Car
Yes,
Park.
yes.
It could be up around St Mary's, up on the hill
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Al fresco drinking,
We've
as
heard about
they
it.
call
Yep,
that.
absolutely.
And we have a young girl that's up there working with them. She's in her early 20s, so therefore she's more acceptable
Yeah,
to
of
teenagers.
course, of course.
You and I would be looked at as if, who are you and where are you coming from?
Absolutely, yeah.
So she deals with them, and
Yeah.
she puts a lot of
What's
diversionary
coming to me
programs.
here, Kieran, is this is a powerful program.
I would agree with you.
There's a huge voltage here, if you like. This is strong. This is reaching into the very bowels of the problem.
Yes. I
Goodness
completely
me.
agree with you.
And it's so new. Did the research identify the extent to which of these individual elements are serious in our community? Presumably they're all there because they are serious. Yeah.
We didn't need to do the research because the research figures are already there. There's comprehensive research being conducted by the Northern Ireland Statistics and Research Agency, which are far more empowered and far better and professional at doing them than we would have.
Yes.
So we were able to take those statistics. We have been working, and I personally have been working on alcohol and drugs since I came to Newry down in 1993, which is
Wow.
eons ago.
You have got provenance here, sir.
So we looked at, as I say, we went out to the community and we just simply asked them a question. I went out with very high technical equipment, a blank flip chart and a pen, and said, what do you think you need?
Yeah.
There was no preconceived ideas.
Were you talking to the right people?
Well,
And how did you know that?
Well, if I take Newry, for example,
Yeah.
with working in Newry, we have the Confederation of Community Groups, there's community workers,
yes,
etc.
yes.
So through those avenues and my own agency networks and community networks that I built up over 20 years,
Yes.
we held public meetings. We invited people along, and we just said to them, tell us what you want.
Yeah.
What is
So
it you need?
Not only is it powerful, it is focused and it is relevant and it's scientific almost.
It is that, but the one thing that I am very proud of is it is based within giving people an opportunity to say the one thing, what do you really want?
Yes.
Now, a lot of them were flights of fancy.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of them were misunderstanding that services they were thinking of were already in place, but they didn't understand. So we had an education process there.
Yes.
As I say, this is nearly 2.5 years ago. But what we got from them was what they needed, so we took it. The remaining 2 services are the ones that are based within the Southern Health and Social Care Trust. We have alcohol liaison nurses in both Daisy Hill and Craigavon Area Hospital. We've had them for quite a few years.
That's wonderful.
They're based predominantly in the emergency department, which used to be the old A&E.
Yeah.
Everything changes, so we change names. Andrea Judge is our alcohol liaison nurse, but she works in the general hospital. So it would be people who were coming in for elective surgery. They had to have a hip replacement, a knee replacement, whatever was coming in, that they would be in the wards. The nurses would be told or know all about Andrea and what her work is. And if they realise that someone could possibly have a problem with alcohol, Andrea will go to their bedside. Actually meet them when they're in hospital, and we're hoping at that time she'll be able to work with them to address their issues.
Mind you, Kieran, that's a fairly delicate interface. If you're in hospital to get your knee done, and someone comes along and says there is the possibility you're a drunk, so to speak.
Let's say I wouldn't use that phraseology.
Of course you wouldn't.
You might, but I don't think I could get away with it.
But it is nevertheless delicate.
Yes. Well, Andrea has a very good background in mental health nursing.
That's important.
She is very, very capable of what she's doing, as are all our staff that we have within the portfolio. And she knows how to address it in a quiet, subtle, caring manner.
Conversation.
She was interviewed on UTV last week, and the feedback from it was dramatic is the only way. There was one gentleman was on said that she actually saved his life because he was at such a state. The final one is the first ever post in Northern Ireland. This is an alcohol liaison midwife.
And drinking in pregnancy.
Exactly.
My goodness.
Fetal alcohol syndrome, etc., etc. The whole things that can come from that. We looked at the situation and we realised that with the number of births we had throughout the year in the southern area, this was a golden opportunity to try and address this issue. So what we have now in place is an alcohol liaison midwife. Part and parcel of their role will be working with the other midwives that we have across the area. There's about 240 of them across all of the Southern Trust, and it covers every aspect of the 5 council areas, as all our services do. She will be training them up, and it's just simply to ensure that they are able to ask the right questions, not simply, do you drink? No, move on. But to be able to have more interreactive communication with the clients that they have coming in, and then a lot of the midwives will be able to address the issues, because sometimes women are confused. Oh, you can drink so much. And we are looking to do away with that, and then they can be referred directly over to the alcohol liaison midwife if they have a more serious problem.
How do people contact you and your service? Is there a central number or website they can get, or what?
There is no central number, because we feel that would be, you're going to go to a call centre. I don't know about you, but I'm not a great lover of the press button A.
I am not either.
So,
but I mean, if there is someone out there with difficulty, what do they do?
They can simply look at look at the Trust website. Number one, it's on that. And the numbers are there for direct access into all of the 8 services.
Wonderful.
Because that's what we want. We want you to be able to lift the phone. And let's say, if you don't mind me saying, older people and alcohol focus, that you actually ring and someone who knows what they're talking about answers the phone.
Fantastic. But initially, through to the Southern Trust website. And what is that website? Do we know?
It's just Southern Trust.
Southern Trust.
All you have to do, you don't need to know the full, just Google Southern Health and Social Care Trust.
Southern Health and Social Care Trust. That's to Google, and then you'll find out everything there is to need to know about this.
Well, hopefully.
I'm very proud of what you're doing.
So am I.
This is important, and it gives me, as a grandfather and a great-grandfather, considerable reassurance to know that you exist in the community.
Oh, thank you very much.
Go well. And maybe we can talk to that nurse. She'll come in and see us
soon. Talk to any of our staff.
Let me give you my card, and we'll make that happen. So there you are. We'll definitely make that happen.
They
maybe
would be only
in the
too
next week
happy
or
any
two.
of the services come down, and
That's
we would appreciate
great.
any opportunity
We're,
you
we're,
have to
we're part of
get
your
the information
team.
out.
We're here. We'll
Thank you
put the
very-
information out.
You're
Kieran
our-
Devlin of the Southern Trust.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
Rowan.
Kieran. All the best to you.
Okay.
Music.